Hello, good morning, good afternoon, happy holidays. Welcome to My Left Ear. This is Carrie Freeman. I am Carrie Freeman, the writer, producer, director of My Left Ear. It's Wednesday, December 14th. And if you've never been here before, this is a liberal YouTube channel. And I mix in some philosophy and good evidence and stories. And I make predictions. I do the runes. So welcome. What do I do when I'm not here? I do individual sessions for people. I call myself a change agent. Been doing hypnotherapy and coaching for over 20 years. I do psychic coaching also, and there's a video on that. There's a video on my hypnotherapy, and you can find my email below or in the community section if you want to contact me for any reason, my price list. There you go. I also have Patreon where I'm teaching the runes, and that's in the information section also. I'm also an author. Sometimes I forget to say that. I've written 2 books, and that's in the information section, community section also. And lastly, this is for entertainment purposes only. There you go. Subscribe and like if you wish. It would be great. All right, so I'm starting off today. Boom. Oh, by the way, I'm looking at myself. This is my peace t-shirt that I've had, I don't know, maybe 30 years. It doesn't have any holes in it. I love it. And I just thought it might be a good day to wear my peace t-shirt. So the runes. Just going to start off with the runes today. Let's get right to it. Here's the question. Now, are you aware that in the last 24 hours, all these texts have emerged between Mark Meadows and members of Congress days before the coup, and they are like a treasure trove of coup texts by members of Congress. And that is called good evidence. Right, guys? Okay, so given that information, here is my question. Will the new texts from Congress members with Mark Meadows about the coup be grounds for seditious conspiracy charges? Interesting day today, my friends. So the first rune I got, pow, was the rune of disruption. And as I always like to tell you, you can kind of align it to the Tower card in the tarot. So let me share with you. Elemental power, change, freedom, invention. It indicates suppressing need in the psyche to break free. And I just have a comment. Let's break free from these seditious conspiracists that are in Congress. Let's break free. That was my little editorial. It is the Great Awakener, and it always operates in reverse. Yes, yes, yes. The power may be so great that it rips away the fabric of what you previously knew as your security. Margie Taylor Greene. Rips away that you previously knew your place in the world, your work, relationships, and beliefs. How does that sound to you, people? It doesn't sound good. And I'll tell you why. One of the other reasons why. We have this new special prosecutor counsel in Jumpin' Jack Flash. That's my nickname for him because I think he is a guy who's so on top of everything. He's fearless, he's fast, and he may be one of the greats. All right. So when I say Jumpin' Jack Flash, it is with complete admiration. And I think, you know, if you've been watching me a while, I like nicknames. I like nicknames for good people and nicknames for bad people. The thing is, I've really studied this guy, and he has a thing about, I look like Trump doing this, heaven forbid. He has a thing about ethics. And he goes after ethics, no matter who it is, no matter what party, ethics. And all these seditionists in Congress have ethics problems. They were part of the prep for the coup. So these are coup texts. All right, so that was my biggest disruption. I want to say yes, yes, yes. Jumpin' Jack Flash is going to get to these people. He's not going to let this go, nor should he. Then just this disruption is so big, but I pulled two others. Sometimes I don't. I got the self, the second one, the self. And very simply, the self says to them, it signals a time of rectification. That's pretty clear, isn't it? It signals a time of rectification, all you bad people. Then I got the rune of flow in reverse. In reverse. And it's a counsel against overreach people. You know who I'm talking about. You cannot exceed your own strength now. And I want to interject. You cannot beat Jumpin' Jack Flash. All right. Cannot exceed your own strength, which brought you to this juncture where nothing is flowing, and you may be languishing over your choices. So let me just say, and my left ear is on board for this. It has no issues with this. We believe that, yes, these people in these texts are going to be held accountable. They're going to be ferreted out. They're all so nervous right now, I can't even tell you. And that would include your favorites, you know who I'm talking about. All right, now I'm going to go on to the next rune question. Will Mark Meadows go to jail? Will he go to jail? I mean, he's at the center, he's at the apex of this whole thing with these hundreds or thousands of texts. So I got gateway. I got the rune of gateway in the reverse position. And it says there is a quickening here in your development. Now that may seem positive, but what it really means is there's an intensity in his development. The nature of his passage is dependent on the quality of his attitude, the clarity of his intentions. This rune demands contemplation. I don't think this is a man who contemplates. I don't think he's built that way. I think he goes every which way the wind is blowing, which will make him look good, which will help him win. There is no sense of real self in Mark Meadows or in Kevin McCarthy. They're just like, oh, this will benefit me, I'm going to go in this direction, and that'll benefit me, I'll go in that direction. Very, very, very weak characters, but they're in powerful positions. It says the runes demand contemplation. I told you that. Hasty decisions may cause regret. Impulses, Mark Meadows, must be tempered. Now, here's a very confusing part of reading runes. And maybe you're a part of the Patreon who watches me do runes every week, teaches them. Joy. That kind of blew my mind this morning. I won't mind telling you that. I got joy. So I had to say, okay, what is this about? This is very odd. Joy. So the joy, I believe, I'm just going to share with you what I believe, is a temporary hold. While there may be some negotiations going on, and in that hold, Mark Meadows thinks that the term of his travail has ended. And he thinks he got a break and may feel joyous temporarily. That's my left ear's take on this, okay? Then the last one I got for Mr. Meadows was movement reversed. And it says, whoa, 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 not so fast. Movement reversed is movement that appears blocked. So I think we can see by just watching the news that Mark Meadows is definitely blocked. He's being boxed in, just like Trump is. The advice is be certain that what you are doing or choosing is timely, Marky. Not all possibilities are open to you. Here's what my lift ear suspects. I think he is going to go to jail, but I think he's going to flip and share some information and get a shorter sentence. That's what I think is going to happen with Mark Meadows. He's just a dreadful, mealy-mouthed, weak guy. All right, now the third runes I pulled. I asked, because I have such a feeling for these people, I'm sure you do too, will Ukraine be able to withstand counterattacks in the spring? In the spring. I got the rune of signals reversed. And it says, well, what I'm saying to you, Ukraine may be concerned over what appears to be failed communication, lack of clarity, or awareness of past history in this present situation. The advice is, remember what is happening is timely. So in the strangest way, the winter could benefit them. And then I got gateway reversed. Indicates a halt along the way, which would be winter. No hasty choices. Contemplate the situation, which of course Zelensky is brilliant. He's on Time magazine right now as Person of the Year. Here, I agree. And impulses must be tempered. I will tell you that Zelensky does not feel like an impulsive man. He was an actor. He was an entertainer. And then the crises pulled out something great in this man that was always there, but it came forward. Then the last rune here about Ukraine. Will they be able to handle counterattacks in the spring? I got partnership. Woo! This rune has no reverse. It signifies the gift of freedom from which flow all other gifts. And I'll tell you something, as much as I watch all kinds of experts on TV, generals, Michael McFaul, who's been ambassador to Russia, people who know, especially these generals. Wow. Ukraine's going to prevail. The attitude of the people, and no matter how much they're suffering, and believe me, I can't even believe how much they're suffering. Sometimes I lie in bed at night and I think about it when I'm warm. But they will prevail. My thing is like, what's going to happen spring, summer? Because I think there might be an opportunity there. So we pray, and if we can send money for food or clothes or anything, we should do that. The Russians are not known for taking care of their forces, and some of these forces are going to freeze to death. Russian forces. Okay. Now here's my last rune. Very blunt. Will Putin die in 2023? Because you know he's sick. Doesn't really look that sick, but he's sick. Here's a clue of something. There is a yearly, very long session, hours and hours and hours long, where Putin speaks and he answers questions. It's canceled. It's not been canceled before, to the best of my information. It's canceled. He doesn't want the questions, and this is a tell, my friends. Putin knows how bad it's going in Ukraine. And then the other half of it may be his health. Why he's not speaking, why he's not showing, why this is canceled. So I did pull a couple of runes on this one. Harvest. Now harvest is like a good rune. It's things are growing. Things are coming to harvest, but it's a year. all right? It always speaks of a year. So 1 year is fertile season, and I think we're looking at within the year of my question about Putin, Vlad. And then I got partnership. And partnership in some form is at hand. It is the gift of freedom from which flow all other gifts. It is growth. So once Putin has expired, the new regime will not want to continue this, okay? And it will wind down. And I do believe this, okay? So here we go. All right, now, I started this thing called sort of like sound bites. I think that's what I'm calling it, where I'm just saying, I'm just doing bullet things with you and sharing bullet thoughts of mine, my left ear. And so I'm starting the sound bites with good evidence, which I normally wait till the very end. But here's the good evidence. The Respect for Marriage Act is law now. And I don't know about you, but I think it's a beautiful thing. People now can love and partner with who they want to. And I certainly have friends that have been affected by this, male and female, and I'm so happy they can feel safe. Thank you to Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and everybody that worked on this. It's an important thing that they got it done before this new crazy regime takes over the House. All right. Now, I'm just going to mention this. I really don't like to talk about her, but Carrie Lake has launched a lawsuit about that her election in Arizona was a fraud. She's launching it without proof of voter fraud, but she's launching it. And according to her, the judge said he's glad that she's doing this. The weird thing is, I want to ask Carrie Lake, so your votes were fraudulent, but everybody else in the GOP who won in Arizona, those votes are good. It's a little nutty, isn't it? Well, what's going to happen with her, she's just going to eventually fade. Her personality has pathology. There's something wrong with her. And we can leave it at that, okay? She's going to go away. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. The coup plotting, which I talked about before, all roads lead to Mark Meadows. He's the apex. Don't know if you know this, but Ron DeSantis, governor of Florida, who's a fascist, not an American, not a Democrat, he's a fascist. He made us an anti-vax speech the other day. And so he is willing to endanger all of the people in Florida and the children. He's anti-vax. There's people that want to sue. I think he might be one of the people that want to sue Dr. Fauci. They're talking about this in Congress. Sue Dr. Fauci. It's so unbelievable. I don't even have words for it, but there it is. And my belief about Ron DeSantis is that he's truly, I mean truly, a bad man, an evil man, a self-absorbed man. And he might have just a tincture more brain power than Donald Trump, a tincture. But he doesn't have emotional intelligence. Barack Obama had emotional intelligence. Joe Biden has emotional intelligence. It's not only Democrats, but a lot of people don't have emotional intelligence, and that's what makes them F up. I think he's going to self-destruct, okay? Watch. That's my left ear. I wrote, my left ear thinks he's going to self-destruct at some point. Keep an eye on him. Currently, and this is awful, there are migrants at the border in Texas near downtown El Paso. The weather is freezing, and they are burning fires to stay warm. Most of these people are from Nicaragua. Can we pray for them? I mean, we're not near there, so we can't bring them anything. My God, I hope people are taking care of them. Now, You know, I don't do a lot about foreign affairs because I don't feel like I'm that I'm informed enough. You know, like let's just call it what it is. I don't feel like I know enough, like some other people. But Iran, so many bad things are happening in Iran because women are trying to get their freedom. People are trying to get their freedom. So there is a 23-year-old gentleman who was sentenced to death by a court in the city of Mashhad, which is the center of protests, for allegedly killing 2 members of the paramilitary force and wounding 4 others. This military force is affiliated with the country's feared Revolutionary Guards, and they have been at the forefront of this crackdown. So scores of executions are feared in Iran as this 23-year-old was hanged in a public killing from a crane. So people would be intimidated. It was in the public, and it was carried out less than a month after he was arrested, following a secretive trial. You know, there was a woman on Twitter. I didn't write this down, but this is just coming to mind. There's a woman on Twitter yesterday who was complaining that Kmart is now closed, and she has to drive a really long way to find a Kmart. And I really couldn't help myself because I don't know her. And I hit reply and I said, go to the Ukraine. Really, lady, go to the Ukraine. You can't find the Kmart? Oh my God, that is tragic. Go to Ukraine. Oh my God, that just irritated me. You see, I can get irritated. Then the last thing I want to discuss is that there is proof now, there is evidence that members of the Supreme Court are partying in people's homes and fraternizing with their donors, Federalists, etc., etc. So there was just someone that was present at one of these private parties, and it was Kavanaugh, Clarence Thomas, and Alito, just having a blast. Talking, having a blast. They are emboldened in a very dangerous way. Now, the public and the Congress is beginning to get wind of this, and now there's talk about, we need to change some rules here. Ethics rules. So we will see. They do not have any ethics or self-regulation. And they're rogue now. Not all of them, but those 3 I mentioned. All right, so we're down to the end now and the quotes. Before I get to the quotes, you read my community section. You read a little bit about my terrible experience with spending 3 weeks writing and not being paid. And I'm still processing all of this because it's a pretty big deal to have happen when you are an established writer, not a neophyte. So I've been I'm writing, of course, about it. And I'm writing in a way that maybe it turns into a really cool article. I have a title. Let me even think about whether I want to share the title yet. But what I'm trying to find out is how far can I go with an article without being sued. And so when I find out a little bit more, I will share a little bit more with you. It honestly shook me, not about my writing, you see. That's not what got me, because look at, all writers have to rewrite, all writers have to edit. If you don't like to edit or rewrite, you should never ever become a writer, because that's all it's about. And actually I enjoy it. I have quite a bit of confidence in my ability to write. just because I've done it. But no, it doesn't always come out perfect. It has to be fixed. You have to edit. You have to take this out, that out. All that's normal. But what did happen was the level of vitriol and abuse and insults and manipulation that this guy reaped upon me was the shocker. It wasn't that I took it. He actually said, your writing is abysmal. That's a really strong word. Where I have answers to all of this, you know, and what I want to do is share, because some of it's funny, actually. Some of the stuff I came up with funny. Because humor lets people know that you do not take them seriously. That's why Jimmy Kimmel is so great. That's why those late night guys, because they demean people through their humor. And that's what I believe is the most effective way of doing it. So this is coming, and I just want to share this with you. I'm a processor, and it's taken me some time to process everything that happened, and that I'm out $1,000. Okay, so here's a quote. Let me put my glasses on. This is by a gentleman on Twitter named Joe Newberry, and Joe is an older gentleman, and he is a musician and a songwriter and a guitar player and blah, blah, blah. And he just wrote this simple note to everybody the other day. Let's all be extra kind to folks just now. The holidays can wrap sadness in a pretty bow. Let's all be extra kind to folks just now. The holidays can wrap sadness in a pretty bow. And then this I found just this past week, strangely, and it's anonymous. And here it is. I think as you grow older, you look for very different things in people. Honesty, loyalty, integrity. But most of all, you look for someone who will stand right by your side when the walls start crumbling and the fires rage within. They are right there, and in that moment, you know that they've got you. So there were instances in what happened to me where, I don't know how to say this, I was left standing alone by people that I shouldn't have been left standing alone by. But I didn't create this quote. I just found it and went, oh my heavens, that's perfect. So here we go. It's Wednesday, December 14th. Write me. And by the way, oh, that reminds me, when I shared my experience, this sort of disaster on my community page without giving away details or names or anything like that, I got great letters from you guys. Very supportive, good advice, a reference that I'm going to use today, a legal reference. And I just felt all of you being very caring. And I really appreciate it. I want you to know I really appreciate it. I hope you believe me. I'll see you soon. Make peace, make good memories. And once again, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.